Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jewels on the Couch. I'm so excited to be filming today. I am here, my butt is on the cushion. Guys, I've been watching a lot of Love Island Australia. I must say the Australian accent must be the hardest. Don't even judge it. Honestly, I sound so stupid. Oi mate. That's not Australian. Anyway, I am so excited because I bought a new rug and I bought throw pillows because, as you can see, there are not any throw pillows on this couch. I do have this like on each end of the couch, but I just got throw pillows. I got a new rug. It's on the way. It will be here. When I get it, you'll see it in the next video. It's been a long time. We have a lot to talk about, so take a seat, get a drink, sit down on your couch, get nice and cozy because we have a lot to talk about today. My cat's coming. He's been super clingy. He's been super clingy with me today, so just, he knows I'm sad. He knows I'm sad. So I have friends. I don't feel like talking about this. So originally I was going to talk about something, but as you guys know, I sit down on the couch, I get a feeling in the air about what I should talk about. And then all of a sudden it kind of comes to me and then I just blurb it out. And so that's what I'm going to do this episode. But something that I have been thinking about that has been on my mind lately, which I'm sure is on a lot of other people's minds, is that I know sometimes I get annoyed with myself because I'm like, your videos are always so serious and sad and who wants to watch that and be sad? But my goal is not to make you feel sad. My goal is to make you feel seen, heard, understood, and feel like there's other people out there that are dealing with similar things that you are dealing with. As I've talked about before, you guys know that my mom passed away in the beginning of 2024. We've already celebrated, that is, no, not celebrated. We've already had, a death anniversary, and then there's gonna be another death anniversary in January. As you guys know, during the time before the holidays, it is so easy to go back into those moments where you feel sad because usually you would be around that family member, usually you'd be spending time with them, usually you would see them. But for me, it brings up so much sadness, so much darkness, because I can think back to when I was taking care of my mom. That's when she was on hospice. I was taking care of my mom through about August, around that time, until January, until she passed away. And so during this time, I am reminded of not only that she's not here, but I'm also reminded of the trauma, the day in, the day out of taking care of her during those months where, she couldn't eat and she was literally disintegrating basically in front of me. And it was the worst thing for anybody to ever experience. I think I wouldn't want anyone to experience it, but I'm sure some of you have. And I think when this time of year comes around, it is very easy to be reminded of that time of my life because it felt like it was never ending. And then knowing that the only way for it to end would be for her to pass away. And also just that feeling like you can't help somebody, you can't save them. They're literally dying in front of you. There's nothing that you can do to save them. There's nothing you can do to turn it around. So you're celebrating these holidays with your parent that is going to be the last one that you celebrate with them. And what's even worse is celebrating it, knowing that it's the last one, and then also not even being able to truly celebrate it because she couldn't eat. So on Thanksgiving, she didn't have enough energy to like sit up at a dining room table. She didn't get to eat anything. And then in December, it's like I got her this necklace for Christmas, and like putting it on her, knowing that I would be taking it off sooner rather than later, was extremely hard. And opening up presents, and she can hardly like keep her eyes open to sit up on the couch and open presents, was extremely difficult. And when this time comes around, I know that those feelings are going to come back up. And usually during the year, it's easy for me to kind of push those feelings aside, to not think about it, to not think about it, to not think about it. And I know that's not what you're supposed to do with trauma. You're supposed to think about it. You're supposed to cry. You're supposed to be sad. That's the only way that you're going to eventually be able to sort of heal from it. And I'm not sitting here to tell you guys some magic recipe of like what you're supposed to do. I am just sitting here to tell you my experience, because this is a real experience and I'm still figuring it out. I'm still figuring out what works for me, what doesn't work for me, how to heal, how to grieve. Like, I honestly don't even know. It's a very confusing journey. I wouldn't even say it's a journey though, because it's like when someone passes away that you were close to, it changes you for the rest of your life. It does. It changes you for the rest of your life. You will never be the same. When you go through something traumatic, it will change you for the rest of your life and you will never be the same. And that could be in good ways and bad ways. Like, I definitely have had good, positive things come out of this, and also, you know, negative, because obviously it's very sad. But the other day I was feeling the feelings surfacing back to the top, but this time I couldn't push them away. And something that I talked to my therapist about before was I don't like to cry, because when I cry, that's when I realize how sad I am, how bad, how sad I feel. Like, whoa, I didn't even know it was possible to feel this sad. And I feel like I'm staring at this ocean of like tears that need to come out of me, and like it's never ending and it's never gonna stop, and I'm never gonna stop feeling that way. So then therefore oh my God, there's an annoying dog barking outside. Go. Can someone come get their rat? Someone come get their rat and feed it to the snakes. So the feeling is obviously not a good feeling. It comes up, and I feel like no matter what I do, it's not going to end. Like, I'm just gonna keep crying. I'm just gonna keep being sad. What is happening? Hi, Blue. Hi, Blue. But, hey, buddy. But basically, I decided, no, I need to cry. I need to cry. I need to cry. I love how I'm saying this, but every single time that I start thinking about things, I push it down and I don't want to think about it because I don't want to cry. Because like I said, when I cry, I realize how sad I am. When I cry, I'm forced to think about all the traumatic things, the images, the sounds, the smells, the this, the that go with the past trauma experience, and I don't want to think about it. And it's like, first you're crying because you realize how sad you are, then you're crying about the experience, then you're crying because you miss somebody that you're never going to see again, at least not during my time on earth. And then you start crying because you're crying feeling bad for yourself because of how sad you feel. And you're like, why don't I give myself enough space to cry? Why don't I give myself enough room, enough space to cry? Like, be sad, cry, it's okay. And it's such a feeling, like, you don't want to be sad around people. Like, I don't want to be sad around people. Like, I don't want to be sad around people. I don't want to cry around my boyfriend. I don't want to. I don't want to cry around people. I don't want to be that negative Nancy. It's like, you're not being a negative Nancy. Like, you literally went through something traumatic, but it's really hard to cry and like know how to be comforted and receive comfort And it's just like all these things are going through your head, and it's just so much is going on. And then it's like you push it away, you don't cry about it, and then one day, like the other day, where it comes up and you cannot push it down. You cannot push it down, and you just cry, and it floods. You're just, the tears come flooding down. And I remember, like, I was in my kitchen, my tears started flooding down. I felt really sad. I felt this deep sadness, ache in my heart. Sat on the couch, crying. You know, my boyfriend comes out of the bathroom. He's like, comes over, immediately hugs me. He's like, you know, we're talking. I'm telling him like how I'm feeling and like different things, and how horrible it is when you are spending time with a family member knowing that it's going to be the last Christmas, the last Thanksgiving, the last time that you spend with them. It does something to you. It does something to your mind. It's just crazy how time works on this earth as well, because it's like, my sister sent me a video of my mom. It was her 60th birthday. Everyone sing her happy birthday. She looks healthy. She looks completely fine.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mom Nona. Happy birthday to you. Tatia Guri Ate. Tatia Guri Ate. Tatia Guri a Christina. Tatia Guri Ate.
9 months later, she's like 9 months later, and then she sent me another picture, and it was my mom's headstone. And she's like, isn't it insane how only 9 months later she passed away? Only 9 months later. That's it. 1 minute she's out at a restaurant, dressed up, eating dinner, having cake, celebrating her birthday with her friends. 9 months later, she's not here anymore. Like, what do you mean? And just everything, like just this time of year, I'm really trying to make it better. And it's not seasonal depression. I'm not sad because it gets dark outside. I love the darkness. I like when it's dark outside, and I also love the rain. And, you know, there are some things about the holidays that I do like, but a lot of sadness comes along with it. And that's just the way that it is. And I feel like I'm kind of, you know, I'm existing, but at the same time, it's like, I also have that feeling of that sadness, because it's like, oh, I remember this time of year. And it's crazy because your mind only likes to think about, you know, the negative, the trauma. And I try to remember the positive years, the positive Christmases and the Thanksgivings that I did have with her. But it's hard to even think about those when all my mind could think about is like, oh my gosh, what you went through was huge. What you went through is horrible. What you went through, it was a lot. And, you know, you need to think about this. You need to cry about it. You need to feel the feelings. You need to go back. You need to think about it. You need to remember how it was when you were there. You need to cry. You have to do that because you have to be able to distinguish between then, the past, and now, the present. Because now it's like, oh, I'm safe. Everything's good. No one's dying. Everyone in my life is healthy right now. Knock on wood or a tui, whatever. It's like everyone's good right now. But yeah, I feel like this feeling like something bad is going to happen. Or even though everything's good right now, it's like my brain is still trying to search for the negative because it's so used to having something that's negative that's going on, that when nothing bad is going on, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel normal because I'm so used to there being something. It was always a waiting game with my mom, you know, being sick, having cancer for 20 years. It was always like, oh, you know, oh, another test. Oh, is she gonna have cancer again? Every single time she did have cancer again. So it's like getting your hopes up for somebody to be healthy, and every single time they weren't. Every single time it was bad news, that you start to get used to bad news. You start to expect bad news. You start to just think that that's just how life is going to be. It's always going to be bad news. It's always going to be something bad happening. There's always going to be some tragedy happening. Someone's going to die. You know, so when things are normal and you're in this like flow of like just going to work and like spending time with your friends, spending time with your partner, doing whatever, it's like it doesn't feel as good as you'd like it to feel because you're almost waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for something bad to happen. And it's like you almost just want it to happen. So you're like, I knew it. Yeah, because something bad always happens, which sucks. And it's not good to feel that way. It's not good to be that way. It's not good to think that way. And that's why it's so important to think about the bad thing that happened to you. Think about the trauma that happened to you. Cry about it. Think about it. Don't try to push it away. You're not going to be sad forever. You're not going to be crying forever. You're going to cry. You're going to realize how sad you are. You're going to be sad about how sad you are. And you are going to eventually stop crying. But you just have to feel the feelings when they come. Because if you don't do that, then you're just always going to be pushing down these feelings, and it becomes exhausting. It becomes tiring. You know, but it's also tiring to cry. So it's like, which one do I want to do today? You know, and it's just difficult. Navigating grief has been the most difficult thing I've ever done. There's no right way to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. It just sucks. Like, that's it. It just sucks. And I know that if I'm feeling this way, that other people feel this way too. It just sucks. And this video doesn't even have any type of structure at all, and I apologize, but I just wanted to put something and make something, and it's like, this is what's on my mind today. I was going to talk about something about men and helping people with dating and stuff, but I'm like, I just feel like that's just not what I should be talking about today. I've been reading a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's an amazing book. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's literally right here. It's amazing. This book is great. I've already learned so much from this book, but something that I thought was pretty insane and something that I've dealt with is, so in the book, there's a story about a man and a woman. So Stan is the man and Ute, I don't know. Ute is the woman. And they are married. They're a married couple, and basically they were in a car accident that when they were driving, they hit thick fog. They couldn't see in front of them, so they stopped the car. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of cars started hitting their car. And it was like, I can't remember how many cars piled up, but a lot of cars piled up, basically, because they're all smacking into their car because it was all foggy. No one could see anything. So they're just sitting in this car in the fog, can't see anything, but every other second they're feeling boom, another car hit them, boom, another car hit their car, thinking like they're gonna die, you know, thinking they're gonna die. And so they had the husband go under a brain scan and had him think about the incident. And he thought about the incident, and then this is what his brain looked like. A lot of activity going on. Stan's brain scan shows his flashback in action. This is what reliving trauma looks like in the brain. The brightly lit area in the lower right-hand corner, blanked out lower left side, and the four symmetrical white holes around the center. It activated just as if the car crash were happening in the scanner, triggering powerful stress hormones and nervous system responses. These were responsible for his sweating and trembling, his racing heart, elevated blood pressure, entirely normal and potentially life-saving responses if a truck had just smashed into your car. So it said something very interesting here. It says, it's important to have an efficient smoke detector. They're talking about your brain as a smoke detector. You don't want to get caught unaware by a raging fire. But if you go into a frenzy, every time you smell smoke, it becomes intensely disruptive. Yes, you need to detect whether somebody is getting upset with you, but if your amygdala goes into overdrive, You may become chronically scared that people hate you, or you may feel like they are out to get you. The reason I wanted to bring this up was because then his wife goes in the scanner and look at her brain scan. Empty blank, right? Blank. Look at the wife's experience in the scanner. Not all people react to trauma in exactly the same way, but in this case, the difference is particularly dramatic. Her mind went blank. Nearly every area of her brain showed markedly decreased activity. Her heart rate and blood pressure didn't elevate. When asked how she'd felt during the scan, she replied, "I felt just like I felt at the time of the accident. I felt nothing." In this case, almost every area of the brain has decreased activation, interfering with thinking, focus, and orientation. The trauma is so much that your brain just shuts off. It's like, this is too much. I'm gonna go into protective mode and I'm gonna shut off. In a lot of trauma, like when you deal with a death, when you deal with something traumatic, your brain might shut off, or you might constantly feel like your brain is in overdrive and you're constantly thinking about it. You almost feel like you're living in the moment when you're thinking about it. And what's crazy is, in my life, I feel like most of the time, I feel like my brain is the blank one, because when I talk about my, mother's death, or I talk about it, I can talk about it in a way that seems unemotional or robotic, or like I don't really care, or I don't seem that sad. And it's because it's the only way that I can talk about it. If I don't talk about it like this, then what am I gonna be doing? Sobbing and sitting here crying? Like, I'm not gonna do that. The only way that I can talk about it is by separating myself from it, like almost like that didn't happen. I wasn't there. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not going into detail. I'm not thinking about in detail like what happened or anything. But then when I get sad, when I'm crying, when I feel like it just wants to show up, then I feel like my brain becomes more like the busy one, where I almost feel like, not like I'm there, but like I can go back and I can think about it so vividly. I guess like it is like I'm there. Like I can think about so vividly, like, doing things that I had to do, and like seeing her and seeing how she looked, and it's so loud, guys, I'm so sorry. And feeling that I felt when I was watching her, and that just, the feeling I felt, like my body felt completely different. It felt like it was full of lead. I felt tingly all over during the time that I was watching her, and also after she passed away, I felt this way. And then, when I was in therapy, my therapist did bring up the fact that she's like, you seem like you're talking about it like so robotic. Like, do you have any feelings? How do you feel when you talk about it? And I said, honestly, I was like, I don't feel anything. And I said, it's because I'm trying to protect myself. I know my brain is trying to protect itself because it doesn't want to go there. Because when it goes there, it's going to feel like I'm living in that moment. And it's in your brain. So if you don't think about it, and you don't ever cry about it, and don't ever go there, you don't think about it, then it's like, then what's going to happen to you? Your brain's just going to be like shut off, and you're not going to be able to experience feelings in life, bad or good feelings. And it talks about that in the book a little bit more, but it talks about how when your brain is that blank, non-activated one, I mean, both are not good, obviously, but when your brain is the blank one, it's harder to then experience positive feelings and good feelings. It's hard to like turn your brain back on to experience the actual good things in life. And you have to go through the trauma, you have to think about it, you have to cry about it, or else you can't like get to that other side, because you're already turning off a part of your brain that needs to be turned on, and you can't keep going like that. And I know it sucks to hear, because you want to like, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to cry about it. Neither do I at all, trust me. And I'm still, after this video, I'm still going to push it away when it comes up randomly, until I can't push it away anymore and I'm forced to cry and I'm forced to be sad, I'm forced to think about it. Then I will cry about it again. But until then, I am gonna keep pushing it away, because it's hard. and I'm right there with you, and I know exactly how you feel. And even though you know that your brain is blank and oh my gosh, I might not be, I might not be like feeling all the feelings that I should be feeling, all the happiness that I could be feeling. But the good thing is I'm also not experiencing all the sadness that I could be feeling. So you're just in this weird kind of limbo, and it's just a learning journey. It's just something that you have to learn and go through by yourself, with other people, together. It's hard, and I honestly don't know like when people become fully healed. I don't know if that's even realistic. I don't know if people become fully healed 100%, because new things are always happening in people's lives. But when you're out of the trauma and you actually are in a good spot in your life, it is really hard to feel calm and to feel safe and to feel happy in that new life, in the new life, because you have so much that you have gone through in your life that it's hard to just relax and enjoy when you're so used to something popping up and happening. And it's so hard to sit and enjoy when you know that that thought of the trauma is going to come through, and it's going to keep coming through and rearing its head in until you face it, until you cry about it, until you keep talking about it, crying about it, eventually, finally moving on from it. Don't be hard on yourself, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, we all don't want to think about our trauma. Who does? Who wants to? Why don't we just pretend it never happened and life's good? And what are you even talking about? And I'm fine. Like, who wants to talk about it? But when you can, do it and talk about it with your friends, talk about it with people, cry to them, let them comfort you, let them be there for you, because it does make them feel good, and it also makes you feel a little bit better, and it also helps you to, feel more comfortable going to people when you are going through something. And if you can't go to somebody, or you don't want to go to someone, I always say, then go to God, pray, meditate on it, talk out loud to yourself, do what you need to do to feel better. But on the days where you feel low, you feel sad, and you feel like, I'm just sad today, and that's just it. Because sometimes I'll be going on in my life and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? What's wrong with me? And I'm like, do you not understand what you went through? Like, I would say that to my therapist sometimes, like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just felt so sad today and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know what's going on. Like, and she's like, do you realize like what you went through? Like, of course you're sad. Of course you're gonna have days where you feel sad. You're gonna have moments where you feel sad. You're gonna have times where you don't feel good. And that is normal, and that is okay, and that is that you have a reason to not feel good, and being sad is also an okay feeling, and you can welcome that feeling, because you need to welcome the feeling of sadness and let yourself be sad to ever truly grasp and experience true happiness. You can't experience one without the other. You have to experience the true, horrible, deep sadness. And something that it did make me realize is it made me realize emotions run a lot deeper than I thought that they ever did. I never knew that I could be that sad in my entire life. And I think one day I'll have that feeling with happiness. Like, I never thought that I could be this happy in my entire life. I never thought that being this happy was realistic. One day I'll be able to say that, but I'm not going to be able to say that until I actually face that sadness of, I never even knew it was this possible to feel this low, this sad. It's actually scary. It's actually frightening to feel that sad. And until you've been through something where you've been that sad, you don't know that feeling. And I don't want you to. I really don't. But just know that there is the other side of feeling that way, but in a positive way. Yeah, bad things are gonna happen. Yeah, hurdles are gonna happen. Traumas, things are gonna happen. It doesn't end here. Like, as long as you're living, you're gonna experience positive, you're gonna experience some negative. But hopefully from now and here on out, it's gonna be mostly positive. I try to have that mindset, like, now and here on out, it's going to be mostly positive. I know it's the holidays, it's hard, things are coming up, emotions are coming up, but take time for yourself to grieve, to cry, to be sad, to lay in your bed, to watch movies all day, to put yourself first, to have boundaries, to say no to hanging out to people. If you want to be by yourself, be by yourself. Being by yourself is not weird. Be by yourself, watch movies all weekend. You don't need to go out. You don't need to be with friends. You don't need to be with family. If you don't want to, stay at home. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's not depressing. Anyways, guys, that's what I felt like I should talk about today. Sorry that it's a little kind of depressing video or sad video. I don't want to be one of those like meh people, but it's like, it's the truth, and this is a emotion and things that people actually go through, and it's very real. And if you feel this way, I hope that this video helped you in some way. I hope that you can feel a little bit less alone and feeling like you're grieving by yourself, or like you can't navigate it, because honestly, none of us can, and I am right there with you. And if you need to talk about it, want to talk about it, comment, email me. My email will be in the bio. And I hope that this helped you. And I hope that you feel seen. To be loved is to be seen. I always say that. But guys, I love you so much. And until next time, au revoir.